Godzilla vs. Kong is the newest movie directed by Adam Wingard, and it's about Godzilla and King Kong, who are basically gonna fight each other to the death at some point. They cross paths and they realize that they can't coexist in this world whatsoever. So, I was not really looking forward to Godzilla vs. Kong, honestly. I'm not too big of a fan of this whole monster universe. The first Godzilla, honestly, I only owned because it was, on sale. Kong Skull Island, I really didn't care for. I thought the characters were bland, and I thought Kong was visually impressive, but the rest of the visuals kind of made me squeamish a bit, which I usually don't feel that way, weirdly. And Godzilla King of the Monsters, I hated. I thought it was horrible. I thought there was even less Godzilla than the first one. I thought every single character annoyed me, and it was just a mess. So I was not looking forward to this. Also, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but every time there's a movie where two big name characters face off each other and there's verses in the title, it usually sucks. Like Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator, Batman v Superman. It usually ends up sucking in some way. So I was not looking forward to Godzilla vs. Kong for that reason as well. It's probably going to focus on the human characters, and we're not really going to go get to see a lot of Godzilla and King Kong fighting at any point. And this movie, overall, honestly, it wasn't too bad. It was fine. It's watchable enough. And I guess it really depends on how you feel about movies like this, I guess. So, the main thing that works in Godzilla vs. Kong, not surprisingly, Godzilla and Kong, the fight scenes, there's at least 3 in this movie, and the fight scenes are incredible. I know I can watch this on free on HBO Max, but I decided to see it in the theater. I thought, the fighting really looked a lot more impressive on the big screen. It was really awesome to see. And as far as and also with King Kong, he seemed a lot more likable in this one specifically. It kind of feels like it's more centered around him, to be honest. You do sympathize with him, kind of, and, it's not like you don't feel bad for Godzilla, but it's definitely more of King Kong's movie than it is Godzilla's. As far as the characters go in this movie, the human characters are very mixed. Some of them I thought were, okay, you're passable enough, you're fine. Like Rebecca Hall, she plays this scientist who's working on King Kong, and she's alright. Brian Tyree Henry plays this conspiracy theorist with a podcast, and he's fine. When he tries to make a joke, it's funny. And, it's definitely it definitely could have been a lot worse, honestly. Also, the girl who played Gia in this movie, I thought she was good as well. The music and the cinematography surprisingly are decent in this movie. Visually, this movie's pretty impressive, not just with the Godzilla and Kong fighting, but also this other world at some point. That was also pretty interesting to see. So it's a visually impressive movie. It's a fun movie to look at, but it's not really a great movie to think about when you really think about it. Obviously, this is a movie where you kind of have to turn your brain off just to enjoy it. And that can be fun for a while, but once you really start thinking about it, So, again, I mentioned, some of the characters worked, some of the characters just didn't. Alexander Skarsgard plays the main male hero, and he's just very boring in this. Julian Dennison, I feel bad, because, he was fine in Deadpool 2, and he's in this. And he was kind of what I was afraid Brian Tyree Henry was going to be in this movie. He was kind of annoying, his jokes didn't work, and I kind of just hated coming back to him at any point. Also, Isa Gonzalez, she was in Baby Driver, and I Care a Lot, and she just plays a very generic villain who really has no reason to be in this movie other than just to be a human villain, because this movie needs a human villain, I guess. But there's multiple human villains in this movie too, so yeah. And it still focuses way too much on these human characters. How many times do we have to say this? Stop focusing on human characters in these movies. We didn't go to Godzilla vs. Kong to see two characters interact. We don't go to Transformers to find out how Shia LaBeouf is going to be. We don't want that. We want what we came to see. We want Godzilla and Kong fighting. We want Transformers transforming. It's basically the same thing. And as far as like the third act, I kind of saw it coming from a mile away. No, not really a mile, but like I kind of figured it was going to happen, considering like what some of these other movies have done, like Batman v Superman. It's just kind of obvious what they were going to do, and it's just not surprising at that point. So it's like when it gets to the third act, I'm like, yeah, we knew this was going to happen. We knew you were going to go in that direction. And spoiler alert, I guess Godzilla and Kong had to team up at some point to take out Mecha Godzilla. And yeah, they coexist. It's when it's the Godzilla and Kong stuff, it's fine. Some of the performances are fine. Visually, it's impressive. The music and cinematography are fine. But for me personally, I can't really just turn my brain off for a lot of movies. So it's just another one of those movies where I look at and go, yeah, like nothing in this movie makes sense. Visually, it's impressive. I just can't turn my brain off. If you've enjoyed all these other movies like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Kong Skull Island, you'll probably enjoy Godzilla vs. Kong, and you'll probably enjoy it a lot more than I did. I'll give Godzilla vs. Kong 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it. So, what is your favorite movie where two major characters are fighting? Like Batman v Superman, Freddy vs. Jason, Alien vs. Predator, old Godzilla vs. Kong movies. Comment down, or who do you want to see fight in some way? I think that's a more interesting one. Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.